Today's video, we are going to talk about running with other dogs. You guys actually voted for this over in the community page, so let's go ahead and roll the intro and get into this video. Over the course of a couple videos here or there, I have mentioned or talked about some of the things that I think about running with other dogs. Okay, so we have a list of issues that we can get out of our dog by running with other dogs, and a lot of big concerns that we need to watch out for and pay attention for when we are in the woods with other dogs. Number one, we need to worry about our dog being a Me Too dog. This is my biggest pet peeve, and this is probably the easiest thing to make a dog, and it's the easiest thing to not make a dog be a Me Too dog, right? So it's a very thin line that we have to walk in this Me Too thing. Some of the things that lead to this is always cutting a dog behind another dog. Okay, so if we cut one dog and then we cut our dog behind that dog after that other dog has struck up, that dog is just initially and naturally becoming a Me Too dog. Running with a higher caliber dog that is way above the pay grade of your dog constantly all the time, this will cause a Me Too dog. And that's why when we start pups with dogs, it is good to get them to where they need to be and then solo them out, right? So creating this Me Too situation is such a headache and such a problem, and a lot of guys just end up getting rid of dogs because they're Me Too dogs, right? They've created a Me Too dog, and it's a hard problem to kind of get over, because it's essentially, once we get rid of the other dog and your dog has nobody to Me Too off of, it's basically like your dog needs to start over and start fresh and learn everything all over again. Sometimes, right? Another big issue that arises out of running with other dogs is bumping trash, running trash, right? Trash, picking up trashy habits. Now this one, it's a chance. It's always a shot in the dark whether a dog is going to pick up on trash or not, right? So some dogs are more trashy than other dogs, and they will naturally just run trash. And some dogs, when they're together with more dogs, they will be more likely to run trash if another dog does run trash. So we have to watch out for the trashiness. Another one here is going to be ill behaviors, right? Aggression, fighting dogs at the tree, snapping at other dogs, things like this. These are very quick and very easy for your dog to pick up. And some dogs, they pick it up as a pup from their mom, or they pick it up from their litter mates, or whatever the case may be. Some dogs are just ill, and some dogs are just not ill, right? So we have a spectrum there of dogs being ill, the ability to become ill and not being ill, and the ability to not be ill, right? So we have a spectrum there, and a lot of the times what will happen is when we cut dogs, when we hear them tree, that first initial couple seconds when that other dog comes in, or they both at that tree at the same time, you can almost hear a little skirmish go on. Sometimes it's like, was that a fight? Or, oh, they seem like they're getting ready to tree. But there's some commotion before treeing starts happening. And what can happen is, if we have one dog that is a severe aggressor on a tree, when we walk in, the other dog is not going to be on the tree, right? So this happens a lot with pups, and this happens a lot with younger dogs or green dogs. They get pushed off the tree, and when you walk in there, they'll just be kind of milling around the bottom of the tree, but they won't get on it. And then what you have an issue that's created there is you almost can't make that dog get on that tree with the other dog, because the other dog has essentially attacked it off the tree. So them are some of the things that we need to watch out for when we are hunting with other dogs and for our dog. Now, running with your dog with other dogs is probably a very key and important part of hunting and coon hunting, especially for socializing your dog. Now, for the most part, I know a lot of us have house dogs or other dogs that our coon dogs get socialized with at the house, and that's fine. You know, that's how I've always operated. I've never cared to put a dog in the woods with another dog as a mandatory thing, like part of this or that. You know, solo's been fine for me, and if we run with other dogs, we run with other dogs, and it's kind of just been that way. And so the second part of this video, what I wanted to talk about here is not so much the dog side, but the people side, right? We need to have a set of rules and a set of things that we operate by regardless of who we're in the woods with, right? So number one, first and foremost, always being respectful and courteous to the other hunter, right? So that is at the top of the list. I never want to be, out there showing my butt, acting like a complete, D-bag, and have these guys look at us and go like, I never want to hunt with him again, right? I never want to be the problematic guy. And so always being respectful and courteous when we're in the woods with other hunters is probably the best course of action. With that being said, we have to have a line and have a limit of how much we are willing to let another guy push us around, somebody else dictate to us how our hunt's going, how our dog's going, what we're going to tolerate. So that is going to be my second one here. I absolutely refuse to be bullied in the woods, right? I absolutely refuse to do it. I will not hunt. I will not hunt with that guy. I will pack my dog up and I will leave, right? Or I'll put my dog in a box and I'll just sit out there and wait. I will not be bullied in the woods, and you guys should not take bullying or pushing around in the woods. And this can look like a lot of different things. Number one, first and foremost, the guy's going to act like he owns the woods, right? So he's running the hunt, he's owning the woods, we're cutting, he's telling you when and where to cut dogs, when and where to walk, when and where to get them off the tree, and when to keep them on the leash, thinking that he just runs the show, okay? So first and foremost about this and this kind of guy, this is the kind of guy that you absolutely do not want to be in the woods with. This is the kind of guy that is going to make you, swear off coon hunting because people like this guy are in the sport. And I've hunted with quite a bit of guys that are like that, right? And not to mention, some guys are just out to get your dog and you to look bad, right? So we have to watch out for those guys as well. So let's say every time your dog barks, he wants to start talking louder so you can't hear your dog. Every single time your dog strikes up, he wants to turn around and walk off the other way and get you to start walking off the other way with him. There's a lot of things that are kind of slick and kind of sly behaviors out of people when you get in the woods with them. So we need to vet them and make sure that we can actually really get along with the person. Okay, so here comes to my last thing here about the people side of things is if I'm going in the woods to hunt with somebody, I'm cutting my dog. Okay, so I don't care what happens. I don't care, if we make an agreement that you cut first and we get your dog back and then I cut mine or whatever the case may be, it doesn't matter what our agreement is. But all I know is my dog is not staying on the leash and my dog is not staying in the box. And if you don't like that, I'm going to cut my dog anyways, right? So my dog will be hunted, and that is just the bottom line on that. So never go in the woods with somebody who doesn't ever want you to put your dog in the woods, because that's just bad kinship. That's bad, being good hunters. It's not being courteous, and it's not being respectful, right? If I'm hunting with somebody, I full blown expect them to cut their dog too, right? So that is just the bottom line on that. And like I said, we can have our agreements, which dog that we are walking to first, which dog that's getting cut first. Are we going to send dogs for backup? Are we only going to cut at the same time? Are we going to try to cut them in separate directions and get them to split? And all this kind of issues and things that we need to have remedied and resolved before we get in the woods and becomes a problem in the woods. Okay, so this is going to be my last thing right here about the people aspect, but it's more kind of for us, okay? So I've said on the channel before, I'm going to walk to my dog and you're going to walk to your dog, and that's just that, right? So one thing that I never do is I never ask or I never expect the other person to walk with me to my dog. And that is just where I leave that at, because there's some guys that absolutely refuse to walk to any dogs without the other person. So this creates so many headaches and this creates so many issues, and this can be such a big problem. And if, let's say, I have my dog treat over here, his dog's over here running track and getting off, right? Getting off over in the woods, getting off, deeper and deeper and deeper, and my dog is treed. I can look to that guy and go, you are going to walk to this tree with me and get this dog off this tree. And if he goes, no, I'm going to go chase after my dog, and I have a big fit to say about it, and I have a big problem and a big issue about it, and I get that guy to go ahead and abandon his dog and follow me to my dog and my dog's tree, and his dog gets over there and he gets hit on the road because he's not paying attention to it, and we're getting him distracted of what his dog's got going on, then that's kind of my fault that I put that guy in a position to feel obligated to walk with me to my tree because I had an issue. So all I ever do is say, hey, I'm going to go get my dog. you can come with me or not, right? And that's all I leave it at. It's completely on their choice, because I never want to have somebody else's dog or some other mishap be on my shoulders because I'm being like, needing my hand held in the woods to walk to my dog, right? So never need backup to walk to your own dog. And this is going to bring to the second part of this is we are never going to side with somebody over our dog, and we're never going to side with another dog over our dog. And that doesn't even matter, right? So even if we are in the woods with some super high class dog, some big money winning dog, and some big money winning handler, do not abandon your dog for him or that dog, because at the end of the day, that's his and his responsibility to take care of. And if we're not paying attention to what we have going on, if we're not backing our dog up, if we're not making sure our dog's not in sticky situations, if we're making sure that our dog is hunting in a place that we're comfortable, and a range that we're comfortable, and with a hearing that we're comfortable, then we need to go ahead and get ourselves put into a spot to where we feel more comfortable hunting our own dog. Because yes, a lot of the times we put our dogs in the woods with these type of guys and put our dogs in the woods with these type of dogs to get our dog to do a lot better. But at the same time, we end up voting for and end up folding for that guy and for that dog, and our dog just falls off on the wayside. And that does nobody any good, and especially doesn't do your dog any good. So the last point that I'm going to make right here about this whole thing is, that is a huge pet peeve that I have, is when we pick other people's dogs over our own dog, and it can cause issues. I just said this. And when we're talking about the guys, right? So the guy that we're hunting with, if he is constantly wanting you to be with him to walk to a tree, that is another big pet peeve. That's another big no-no, because like I said, it creates so much problems, and we need to be able to have the responsibility and be able to have the backbone and the wherewithal to stand up to anybody in the woods and say, no, I'm going to walk to my dog, you're fine. Okay, so guys, I'm going to wrap that video up. I'm going to do the rest of the videos on the list that I put up for you guys to vote for, because I had some really good outreach on that video, while guys saying, why don't you just do them all? Okay, I will do them all, but I'm going to do them in order of which they got voted on. So y'all keep them treed.